on my list, like I don't have packs in this batch because I had finished my list before I ran across that book. So I'm glad that Jackie mentioned it in their presentations. So we're going to start with, well, I hope. There we go. Picture books as usual. And Little Green Donkey loves grass best. It tastes so good and it's crunchy and juicy and he doesn't want any other food. His mom tries to get him to eat some different things. Try this or try that. Nope, it's grass and only grass. Until one day he sees his reflection in the pond and he is green. How did that happen? So he starts thinking, well, okay, maybe I should eat something else. And he tries a little of this and he tries a little of that, and they're all yucky and until he tries a carrot. Carrots are delicious and they're crunchy and they're a little bit juicy, and all he eats is carrots. Any idea what happens to him next? Yeah. Oops. Come on. Oh, let's get this moving. There we go. Lammy is fast and can catch any chicken in the compound in Nigeria. But one day she takes too great of a risk. She climbs into the branches of a tree, and when she grabs for the chicken, she falls and hurts her ankle. She's not going to be able to chase chickens for a while, but it is then that she learns there's more than one way to catch a chicken. Yep. I love this guy. Of course, it's Aaron Blabby, so how can it not be fun? An irritated koala named Warren is adamant about the fact that koalas are not bears. As a matter of fact, Warren notes that Australia does not have any bears of any kind at all, except in the zoos. His efforts appear to be in vain, though. He's not making much progress with his demand to not be called bears. Samson loves to make other animals happy. However, every time he is on his way to someone's party, he is too late to have a piece of cake or even to play games. He is slow, but he also stops to chat with the tree frog, stop the monkeys from arguing, they're always arguing, and turn the tortoise back on his feet. So one day he decides he's going to hurry. He's not going to stop. And so he tries, he keeps going, he feels bad, he doesn't stop to help anybody, and he is still late. It didn't matter, it didn't make a difference. His friends come up with a plan and they invite him to a party, and he gets there on time. I bet you know how they did that. I think this is great fun, and it tells a little bit about the nature of a sloth. They just cannot hurry. It's just the nature of who they are. Another fun book remake title. In this one, the dog rewrites the book titled My First Animal Book. And it's going to be a book about him and only him. So every time you turn the page, there was supposed to be another animal there, but he is taking it over and crossing out what it had to say about elephant, for example, and putting in more information about dog. Well, you can see the animals gathering in the background, and they're all kind of unhappy. So they reach a point where they chase him away. Just get out of here. Or did he trick them? The kids will look at that and they'll figure it out. Maisie goes to her friend Penguin's house to see her new kittens. She chooses one to take home and then learns about kitten needs and care. It's a colorful art and a good information that make this a winner in the Maisie First Experiences series. And I want all 4 of those kittens, but I'm not allowed to take any more kittens home. I love this one. It's a sequel to Can I Be Your Dog? And it's the same format. Kids will recognize this. But in this one, Arfie finds a homeless kitten and, reminiscent of the first book, writes letters to people on the block asking them to adopt Scamper. He named the kitten Scamper. The kitten walks each letter up to the door, and on the next page is the person's reply about how it doesn't work for them. It's just not going to happen. Who will adopt Scamper? Pete was bunny sitting 5 little bunnies when all of a sudden they were jumping on the bed. Yes, and the words and actions from the song are on the page, so you can read it or sing it or have the kids sing it with you. And this has an Easter touch to it because you see the eggs with them, but it's not in your face Easter. So it can be an Easter book or it can be a Pete the Cat book, however you want to use it, what time of year it is. So that's nice. Here's another Llama Llama book. It's cleaning day, but Llama Llama keeps playing with his toys instead of picking them up. So Mama says, well, what if I played instead of cleaning too? And off she goes. She throws clean clothes in the air. She drops towels on the floor. She dances around on roller skates. She's just having a great time. Pretty soon the house is a big mess, and Llama Llama has no place to play. He can't even play. Then they agree that cleaning up is important. It's sure to be popular with the Llama Llama crowd, even though it has this a little bit in your face lesson. It's pretty fun to watch Mama just have a great time. Jo drives a semi-truck, and Big Al, her little dog, is her constant companion. Until one day at a rest stop, Big Al is still busy checking out some other dogs, smells a candy wrapper, and has a roll in a flower patch. And then he trots back to where the truck should be, and it's not there. It's gone. He knows the best thing for him to do is to wait right there and that Jo will come back for him. But it's a little bit hard when some kind-hearted people try to grab him because they want to help him. But just in time, it is Jo. She and her truck are back, and they are together again because she thought the dog was in the back behind the seat where he always rests. Titu has had enough of Bunny's siblings, Bunny cousins, Bunny this, other bunnies that. They ruined his alphabet book about animals, and so he leaves the burrow during the night. Everything is different at night, and it's new, so he decides he's going to write his own alphabet book about animals. When he finishes, he realizes he's lost. He doesn't know where he is or how to get home. But fortunately, when he turns around, he sees his whole bunny clan lined up behind him because they had missed him, and so he can find his way home. Black and white illustrations with a touch of red set the tone of mysterious and maybe a little bit scary because some of those trees that look like trees, sometimes they're shaped like animals. They're still the trees, but they're shaped like animals. And I like that art concept that you might want to use with this. Is what animal could you make from the trees? Little Mouse travels around the world discovering colors, animals, transportation, numbers, and so much more. It's a wonderful book of discovery. And you'll have to look for the mouse on every page, which you can probably see her here. Well, there you go. There she is right there on the top. And there's her little house. Whoops, sorry. It's a fun, I think wait a minute, is it rhyming? I don't think it's rhyming. But it's a lot of fun to know what that mouse is doing. And there are other animals that she encounters occasionally. Jim is a boy, but he notices that people and their dogs go together because their names rhyme or they look a lot like each other. But in the rescue shelter, Mr. Scruff, the dog there, has no one. Now they do not look alike and their names do not rhyme, but maybe Jim and Mr. Scruff belong together. It's a fun take on finding your dog and on how people connect with their pets. Fort Robinson in western Nebraska was used to train dogs during World War II. This story from the viewpoint of one of the dogs gives a sense of the training they received and the duties the dogs performed during the war. In the book part, the story part of the book is fictional, but it's based on things that the dogs were trained to do. So in Major's case, he returned home and was retrained to be a family dog before being returned to his family. So this is fictional based on fact. The last 4 pages give good nonfiction information about the training center and Major. 4 photographs are included, as well as a copy of Major's honorable discharge paper, which I thought was a nice touch. And it's Nebraska connected. You might have seen this book before because it was on the Golden Sower list a few years ago. It's based on a true story, but again, it's fictionalized. Jessica was hurt and one lower leg needed to be amputated. She was working to learn how to walk with a prosthetic when she met a service dog and decided to get one. Meanwhile, Rescue was learning how to be a service dog. Once they were paired up, it was amazing. But then Jessica had to have the lower part of her other leg amputated. They worked together to learn the new things that they need to know. Again, it's a fictionalized story. She was injured in the Boston Marathon bombing, the author, and her service dog is Rescue, and additional information is included at the back of the book. I love this. This to me is great. Talk about being inclusive. Here we are. A great cat wakes up and jumps out of a pile of cats announcing, "Welcome to that magical time when everyone says meow." He gets 5 meows and 1 woof from a dog leaning into the scene. Okay, he can handle this. After he discovers that the dog will or can only say woof, he announces, "New plan, everybody say meow, one guy say woof." He gets a loud meow, a woof, and a ribbit from a frog leaning into the scene. So you see where we're going here. Next is a quack. Then the cat says, "Welcome to that magical time when everybody says whatever they want." And they do. And there's a fun surprise at the end of the book when they hear roar. It's inclusive and accepting of all the different sounds of the animals. And the kids are going to love the fact that there's a roar. And what could that be? They have great ideas about that. A mouse never wavers and convinces a group of other animals that he is indeed a tiger. When a real tiger arrives, the mouse claims that that animal is a mouse. Then he gives names to the other animals. So he'll look at one and he'll say thin, pointy, hangs in a tree. It's a snake, but he says, "This is a banana." It's silly fun with a lesson inside, because I think after you read the book, you can talk about, well, what could an animal, look at its characteristics. What else could it be? How could the mouse fool people about that animal too? A variety of children note in rhyme the attributes they share with a friend or friends who are mostly different animals, and how that makes them the same but different too. Listeners will enjoy hearing about the differences and similarities, comparing each to themselves and naming the many animals on the page. It recognizes that we are all different in some ways, and all of us are valuable. Now, this dog has definite opinions. He is certain that hats are not for cats, and he stands firm in his opinion, while a cat models a variety of hats to convince the dog there are hats that cats can wear. After a parade of cats wearing all kinds of hats and the return of the dog's hat because they snitched it, they all proclaim hats are for everyone, while a duck, a turtle, and a bird join them, and they have hats too. So, celebration of hats. 3 kittens have climbed everything worth climbing on their island. So what's next? Going to Dinosaur Island and climb dinosaurs. The narrator tries to discourage them, but they are into their covered floating litter box and off to the island. They run into some snakes and they end up having to try Plan D. Whoever has to go all the way to Plan D? The book ends with a new challenge, climbing mommysaurs. This book includes lots of planning. They are good at planning. Goal-oriented, they are focused on their goal, and determined, well, you could say stubborn. These kittens are so cute, and the dinosaurs look so ferocious, but don't worry, nobody gets hurt. I love the play on words with this one. This is a llama book. This is book 2. It's the first one I've seen. Llama invents the Replicator 3000 because, while he likes to cook, he does not like to clean. His friend Alpaca does like to clean. Once she is in the replicator, he makes a second one, and the two of them get to work cleaning the house. But Llama doesn't stop. Soon he has an army of alpacas. So he opens the front door and turns them loose. Out they go. He has now unleashed the alpaca lips. It's alpaca lips. Finally, Llama does the right thing and unzoops the extra alpacas. Did he learn his lesson? Not so much. It's just silly fun. Sorry. Ooh, I licked my finger. Good thing I'm in this room by myself. This is a play on the familiar story of filling a house with more and more and more of something until taking away all the extra makes it seem like peace and quiet. Mia wants a puppy, but Mom says there is not enough room in their apartment for a puppy. I'm sorry. So Mia plots with Grandma and Grandma's friends, and one by one they drop off their pets to be watched for a day or 2 or 3 until the house is full of all kinds of animals. People come by and take them away, and now is there room for a pup? Yes. Oh, I love this book, but it's Arthur Yoring's story. He is one mean ant, and he is grumpy. He marches off in anger one day, stomping his feet and grumbling about something, and then realizes he is lost and he does not know. He's out in the desert. So this is not a good place to be lost. He looks around and a fly comes along and gives him a ride. And so he appreciates that, but he's also still being grumpy about some stuff when, watch out for that spider web. That's the end of the book. Don't worry, because there's book 2. Our ant and fly are stuck in a spider's web. Flea is stuck there too because he just escaped from a flea circus and got trapped there. Fortunately, Flea can hop and bounce and all of them get out of the web. Fly gives both of them a ride, but he's headed the wrong way. No, they end up back at the flea circus, and now they all have to do work in the flea circus every day and twice on Sunday. But there is going to be a book 3. It's coming out October 19th, in case you're worried about this. It is One Mean Ant with Fly and Flea and Moth. And the key question here is, can you teach an old moth not to fly into a light bulb? We'll find out. I don't know. And that might be the last book. I don't know. Hope something good happens. Some picture book nonfiction. This is just wonderful pictures. Good basic information. Readers will enjoy seeing the baby with its family and learning how they get around in their environment and how they learn how to use their trunk and everything like that. It's a good nonfiction addition to your collection. This is a wonderful book. It's an ecology book about the impact sea otters have on their environment. It recounts the disaster that occurred after the sea otter was hunted almost to extinction. I remember when that was going on. The sea urchins' numbers grew to the point that they destroyed miles of kelp forest, which impacted many species that live in a kelp forest, and there wasn't anywhere for them to live. Beautiful art and clear explanations convey the issues and the lives of otters. One word on each first 2-page spread with an illustration, and then a brief phrase on the second 2-page spread, also with a different illustration that redefines the first word, followed by a paragraph of more information. For example, with porcupine, the first word is prickly, but you turn the page and it says, but gentle on the next page. Beautiful art and clever text opens the opportunity for discussion, and you can talk about some other animals that aren't included in the book. What about a horse? What would be your first word, and then what would be your additional information afterwards? There are 2 books from this series on the list. They're the most recent ones I've seen. This is a look at what cats and people have in common and what is different. It includes some basic information of the lives of several types of wild cats, lions, jaguars, etc. And it uses a combination of photos and artwork throughout the book to convey that information. So it's quite lively with that in there. And the second book is about crocs. It's the same idea, only about crocodiles. And what kid isn't going to pick up a book with that kind of teeth on it? Each 2-page spread features 1 or 2 animals and one thing a zookeeper might do for that animal. Everything from brushing a hippo's teeth to pick up panda poop, because somebody's got to do it. Listeners will be intrigued by some of the more unusual activities, like using a rake to gently scrape a tapir's back. Very brief information, but intriguing. Just as it sounds, it's a look at various baby animals and how they play. The author demonstrates how play helps prepare the baby animal for life as an adult. And it looks like they're having fun. For the winter, the Arctic fox heads north to the top of the world. As spring comes, she turns around again and heads back to the south for the summer. It's an amazing journey of around 2,000 miles, and this is following one female Arctic fox on her travels. Lawrence Pringle has A Secret Life of the Little Brown Bat. It's the first year in the life of this bat. It's told more as a story. Full-page illustrations convey the action told in the text, and there is more information included at the back of the book, as usual. So let's look at some beginning readers. Little Penguin is very excited about the new visitor soon to arrive, a polar bear. They've never met a polar bear before. His friends have heard some bad things about polar bears, though, like they have sharp teeth, they are mean hunters, and they tell very bad jokes. But Little Penguin is willing to wait and see because You should not believe everything you hear. He remembers that his best friend Franklin is called a killer whale. That's his friend. When the boat arrives, the polar bear gets off. She has sharp teeth, but she is laughing. That's not scary. But then she tells a couple of really bad jokes. If it is true that polar bears tell bad jokes, is it true that they are also mean hunters? Ugh. Making new friends, being skeptical of rumors, and welcoming a visitor. It's all included in this early I Can Read book. There are plenty of books out about Biscuit. This is one of the newer ones I ran across. Biscuit and his girl must first build a snow fort, and then they can play in the snow. But when Biscuit sees a downhill race about to start, he hops in someone's inflated sled and wins the race. It's all right, though, because they can all fit in the snow fort, and his friend, the girl, has snacks for everyone. Dogs, too. Sharing the sled, the snow fort, and the snacks. This is the first book I've seen about the pig, the fox, and the fox. And so I don't know if it follows the same plot as the other ones. But in this one, Fox loves to trick Pig. Pig, in the first story, Fox builds a high wall and places the doll fox on top. Pig sees it and hurries to get Fox off that wall. It's too dangerous, but he trips and accidentally knocks it all down. He catches the doll, but the real fox is caught in the tumbling blocks, and he gets a little bit of bruising and has to wear some bandages after that. The second story involves another injury to Fox, and again, that's after his trickery. The third story is both of them calling it a day, so no more games. Or are there? It's just silly fun again with tricking the other animal. Otter has a lot of toys, but a pet would be fun too. He asks Otter Keeper, one at a time, for several different animals, but each one will not work. For example, a lion is too scary and a monkey is too loud. Finally, they found just the right pet for Otter. It's a tried and true story that could prompt some discussion of animals and pets and their characteristics, and what would be a good pet. This is the Geisel Award winner for this year, 2021. See the cat. The dog says, wait a minute. It's humor. It has a couple of surprises in there. The first story is See the cat, and the dog says, I am not a cat, I'm a dog. The next page is See the cat in the purple dress. I can't remember what color the dress is. And the dog says, I'm not wearing a dress and I'm not a cat. And you turn the page and it's another thing added on until you finally get to where the dog has just had it. This is not what's on this. I am not a cat. There aren't any unicorns around here. And then a unicorn goes by with a cat wearing a purple dress and throwing sprinkles or something. Everything that had been said, and the dog goes, oh, yeah, there was one. So it's very silly, but funny, and there continue to 2 more stories, also some surprise twists with them as well. This is a straightforward rhyming book. It's a ready-to-read brief text. A sample is, there are 2 separate 2-page spreads. One says, bird in the ocean diving. The next 2-page spread says, bird on the ice surviving. So it's like that throughout the book, but you get a sense of what some of the birds are doing, and you can look at them and name some of the birds if you're able to. Bird facts are included at the back of the book with a short paragraph on each species, and that's in the order that they are included in the book, so you can go right through as the book had. This is a bit of an interactive book. The main point is that Bunny does not realize how disruptive he is, and Big, who is the bear there, is trying to help him learn. The reader is asked to give Bunny a high five and later to tap him on the arm. Readers, listeners have also probably been asked to lower their voices and be considerate of others, so helping Bunny might also help them remember to be more quiet. This is the first book in a 3-book series. Dog wants to play with the 3 frogs, but he keeps falling down. He just can't do it right, so they send him away. But then a big bear comes and they're panicking. Dog keeps his head and he uses one of the moves he could not do right earlier and defeats the bear. So they are very glad that Dog came along. It's about problem solving and about keeping your head when things are dangerous. Book 2 is Goat in a Boat. The frogs are happy to see Dog again and to see Goat in a coat. Goat then brings a boat and many animals get on board, but not Dog. It's not going to rain. Why would he get in a boat? Well, it does rain and it's getting deeper. And then Dog finally gets into a trunk when the water gets high. He rescues everyone after Goat's boat is struck by lightning. All is well and everyone is rescued. And then at the end of that book, Dog sees Goat in a warm Santa-like coat and he goes zipping off on a sled. So that prefaces what book 3 is likely to be about. Jane Rowland has written a 5-book series called School of Fish. This is book 3. And in this one, the silverfish gets nervous, the main one on the page, as he looks forward to his band playing for the school. But will the fish kids clap? Will they boo? He's pretty worried about it. So this is about handling pressure and the fear of failure, depending on your friends to do their part, and standing up and giving it your best. All in an I Can Read book, or ready to read. Early chapter books. This is book 1 in a series called Zoe and Sassafras, and the title is Dragons and Marshmallows. Zoe is surprised to see that one of her mom's photos glows purple. Her mom tells her that she helps magical animals that live in the nearby forest. And now, since her mom will be gone for a week, Zoe can help them since she is the first person her mom has ever found that can also see the animals. A few days later, a baby dragon is left by the secret door in the barn. Zoe uses a scientific method, which her mom taught her, to try to find out what's wrong and how to help. Sassafras the cat is very much a part of everything Zoe does, and during the night, Sassafras responds to a need the dragon has that Zoe missed. The puppy had 2 bad homes before finding himself at the rescue shelter. When a boy comes along to adopt him, the puppy is afraid and doesn't know what he should do. Barking and other things puppies do got him into trouble before. Patrick names him Oz and follows the rescue workers' suggestions for helping Oz find his place and be happy. It takes time, patience, and music. Patrick's grandfather teaches music lessons in his home, and he notices Oz's talent. When Granddad plays a short tune on his tin whistle, Oz repeats it in whine. Along with Oz's issues, Patrick must deal with the realization that his father, away on a tour with his band, is not coming back to their home. His parents are getting a divorce. This are the first 2 books in another animal series called My Furry Foster Family. Book 1 is about Truman the dog. Katya, 8, and her parents adopted their dachshund Ollie a year ago, and now they want to foster other animals from Happy Tail's rescue. Their first foster is Truman, an older Labrador mix. Truman is good at finding trouble. And since this is the first time the family has provided a foster home, they make a few mistakes. Nothing serious. When Truman is ready, people come by to visit to see if they will be his forever family. Katya has mixed feelings. She loves Truman, but she knows he needs to go with a loving family. And book 2 is about Buttons the kitten, who likes to hide. The other kittens in its family group are very sociable and outgoing. Buttons hides in the blanket in the bedroom. So they have to get him to come out of, or her, I can't remember which, to come out of her shell. There are more titles in this series: Hamsters, Bearded Dragon, Rabbit, Ferret, Cockatoo, and a Great Dane so far. I've only read these 2, and they were fun and entertaining, and they come in paperback. This is book 1 about Kitty. Kitty's mom is a superhero, and now it looks like Kitty is developing the same powers. She can understand what cats are saying, her balance is outstanding, and she can climb up the clock tower to find out who or what is trapped up there making a horrible noise. Book 2 is Kitty and the Tiger Treasure. The golden tiger statue was stolen from the museum. Kitty and her friends go after the thief. Book 3 is the Sky Garden Adventure. Kitty and her friends find a beautiful, peaceful garden on the top of the building. But after they discover it, other cats start coming there, and pretty soon there are too many cats there and it is getting destroyed. What can Kitty do? There's a book 4 that came out last fall. I can't remember the title, I'm sorry. Anyway, if you want all of them, I'm sure you can find them on Amazon for the list. This is Diary of a Pug, Book 1, Pug Blasts Off. Bub loves peanut butter and his girl Bella, but sometimes Bub is in the wrong place at the wrong time. How did he end up on the rocket that Bella was blasting into the sky? And how will he get the broken wing part back from Nuts the squirrel? Peanut butter? Book 2 is Pug Snow Day. School is closed and Bella can't wait to go outside and play. Bub does not like snow. He does not like cold. Plus, the new neighbor has a monster-sized pet of some kind. Will Bub go outside? He does love his Bella. Now, last time I said, here's a series you can get if your kids are missing the princess themed and glitter books. So it has glitter on the outside there where you can see the princess word. Itty Bitty Kitty, this is number 1, the newest princess. Itty is excited for her party. She is going to become a princess, but there is so much going on. She begins to think maybe she isn't princess material. Maybe she shouldn't consider that. But book 2, the royal ball, she is a princess and she has to teach everyone a new dance at the first ball she attends as a princess. But she doesn't know how to dance. What can she do? Will she find something to work for this? This is full color graphic novel format. A master of disguise, not really. Agent Moose of Woodland HQ is called to find a missing witness, Terrence Turtle. He is miffed that Camel Chameleon just solved his 100th case and a big party is being thrown for him. Agent Moose has solved 99 cases. He and his sidekick Alfred follow the clues and eventually they learn why Terrence Turtle disappeared and who has been holding him captive. It's silly fun, it's a good mystery, and it could turn into a series. This is a series. These are originally published in England. It's called The Jasmine Green Rescues. This is book 1, A Piglet Called Truffle. Jasmine and her younger brother Manu live on a farm with their parents. Their mom is a veterinarian and their dad runs the farm. One day, Jasmine went with her mother on a call to a neighboring farm. Jasmine asked if she could see the pigs and the farmer agreed. She discovered a runt piglet that couldn't suckle, so she ended up sneaking the runt into the car. The piglet is soon discovered, but Jasmine has done such a good job taking care of it, she's allowed to keep it. Her phone call to the farmer confessing her trick is a good lesson, and I'm glad they included that. The piglet Truffle is smart and soon learns some helpful tasks. It's caring about others and animals. The importance of truthfulness and doing your chore every day are included in this book and of the whole series. A duckling. One day, Jasmine and her friend Tom were walking with Trouble, checking on her dad's sheep. A loose dog ran through the hedge, scared the sheep, and then disappeared. It reappeared soon enough with a dead duck in its mouth. They later found the nest of duck eggs, and some were broken. Carefully, they brought the 4 whole eggs to Jasmine's house and borrowed an incubator from Tom's aunt. Only one duckling survived this event, and Jasmine named him Button. And soon, Button is doing some pretty amazing things too. There's more books in this series if you have readers who are interested in rescuing animals. McTavish, I didn't read the first book in this series. This is book 2. The book 1 was titled Good Dog McTavish. In this book, McTavish believes his job is to help his family to connect with each other. They seem to think he should follow their commands. Ha! So he runs away to a local lake and forest area so they will follow him and relax together in nature and enjoy each other's company. Some fiction for grades 2 to 5. Olive met Maudie, her older half-sister, 2 weeks before their father died of cancer. Now an orphan, Olive lives with Maudie. Since they are adjusting, had to move, and Maudie has a new job, getting a dog will have to wait. Until Olive learns about raising a puppy to later be a guide dog. Olive is determined to do it right, and she puts in a lot of effort and gets a lot of support. A sweet, positive puppy story that also includes family changes and adjusting to a new town and new school. This is book 1 in the Animal Psychic series. Cassandra is 14 and she has a lot of changes to adjust to. Her mother now has a boyfriend. She likes him, but Juliet, 17, who is his daughter, wants nothing to do with a 14-year-old sister. Along with that is the fact that Cassandra can communicate with animals, and her best friend Sophie, who is going to be moving away very soon, convinces her to stop hiding and to share her gift to help people. She offers to help a boy and his father find their missing cat Titus. The boy is hopeful, the father is skeptical. Since this is her first time trying to help people find their animal, it's realistic that she flounders a bit, enough to convince the father that she is insincere. But she keeps trying for the cat and the boy. And she does find the cat, but it's a little bit different than she expected when she finds it. But she does have an answer for the boy. Epic is 12, and he is dreading the start of middle school at the end of the summer. For now, he is helping his parents and younger brother and sister run their bed and breakfast in Carmelito, California, which was just named America's #1 dog-friendly town. And a week of special activities is beginning. Soon enough, there is a mystery. Who stole the priceless jeweled dog collar from the famous TV star St. Bernard, Sir Bentley? The kids are sure they can solve it. There are a lot of red herrings and a lot of wrong turns, but they are determined, and everything comes together and clicks. This is one of the book in this series called Name of the Animal, the Dog, and Story. So this is the first time we meet Lily. As told from Lily's viewpoint, her opinions are sometimes quite funny. She is one of several puppies in a kennel with their mother at a rescue facility. She talks about how boisterous her brothers are. She doesn't like it, and that is one thing that makes her more aware and concerned about how frightened other animals might be when in bad situations. Maggie Rose, the daughter of one of the rescue facility workers, can see that Lily belongs with their family. Mom, however, is convinced that she needs to find a different home, even though Lily helps them rescue other animals. I read an advanced reader's copy, as you can see here, so I didn't see the illustrations. It's supposed to have illustrations with it too. But interestingly, he took this character, Lily, and he started a series all about just Lily. So this is book 1 in that series. And you don't have to read the first book to really get everything you need from this book. It's fewer pages and a little bit larger type than the first book, so it's aimed at a slightly younger group of readers. It does have an illustration every few pages, but it picks up where the first book ended, and there's enough background information to keep you in the loop as to what happened before. Lily is calm and quiet and stays with an animal to draw her people to them when she finds an injured animal. This time she finds a crow with a broken wing. Her girl, Maggie Rose, runs for the animal rescue place where her mom works to get help. And Lily stays in the park to calm and protect the bird. And that is only the beginning. I love this book. Letty Out Loud. Letty Munoz it's a summer after 5th grade, and she is learning English. Spanish is her first language, and she is still shy about speaking English with English speakers. Anyway, she and some of her classmates are helping out at an animal shelter for the summer. Letty signs up to write descriptions of pets that are available for adoption because she thinks this will help her with her English. There won't be the pressure of having to come up with the right word right now like you do when you're speaking, because she can think about it and write what she wants to write. But Hunter has also signed up to do this, and he is a bit of a bully. This is about finding homes for pets, being yelled at for speaking Spanish. They were in a grocery store and they were speaking Spanish, and this man came up and started yelling at them about learn English or go back where you came from and all that kind of stuff that I'm sure happens to people sometimes in different situations. And it's also about practicing English and her insecurity about it, but her eagerness to get better at it. It all comes together well for a What Will Happen Next story. And this did receive the 2020 Pura Belpré Honor Award from the book. This is a full-color graphic novel. Trot and Captain Bill, who's a cat, surf together. One day when Trot was grounded, they crept out of the house for a couple of rides. They capsize and Trot gets hit on the head from the surfboard. Before they know it, they both have gone far enough under the sea to encounter sea sirens or mermaids and learn about their conflict with the serpents. The sea sirens are fascinated with Captain Bill, and they make it possible for Trot to hear what he is saying. This has a Vietnamese-American main character, the ever-surprising cat, Captain Bill, both of them helping to resolve a dispute that can end in a peaceful understanding if they can get it to work. and caring for a grandfather with dementia. While the storyline is complete by the end of this first book, you're satisfied. The last line in it is to be continued. So there may be something more coming in the future. Suspend your disbelief right now. This is a lovely book. Katya is in grade school. Oh, it's a full color graphic novel. Katya is in grade school and she and her Meemaw have returned to spend the summer at their Alaskan cabin. Katya loves to read comic books and is not interested in the outdoors or in making friends. After Meemaw sends her to the corner market for a snack and some time outside, Katya accidentally falls from the crossing log into a ravine where she finds herself face to face with a Kodiak bear. Not something you really want to have happen. However, this bear is gentle and non-threatening. His hind leg is trapped under a log. She gets Meemaw and they lift the log using some rope and Meemaw's scooter. He goes home with them so Meemaw can tend his wound and he is soon asleep nestled next to Katya. They are already forever friends. However, Katya and Meemaw have to return home early due to a family emergency. Katya had given Cody a drawing of her other home with a recognizable space needle indicating Seattle. Cody hides on a cruise ship and lands in Seattle to look for her. A young fisherman takes Cody in and helps him look for his Katya. Beautiful illustrations, wonderful, heartwarming story. This title will appeal to animal lovers, young and old. I know I told you too much about it, sorry. I read an advanced reader's copy for this book too, sometimes things are slightly different in the final edition. When their owner, Mrs. Food, I love how they say her name is Mrs. Food, is taken to the hospital after a fall in the kitchen, the pets are sure they will all end up at the pound. Then they find out that another tenant in the building likely has a stash of gold coins. If they can steal his gold coins, they won't have to go to the pound because they can order food on the internet and shove the coins out the door to collect it. Heist planning ensues. Clever, humorous, thoughtful, animal-loving children will grab this, and Marco and Polo are a couple of rats that live in the building, in the spaces between the wallboard and the actual wall. So they'll be interested in how they get along. Great title. Kizzy has always hoped for and wanted a pony. One day in the grocery store with her best friend Pavel, there was a pony eating donuts. Kizzy claimed him, quietly took him up the elevator to her family's apartment, and she was prepared. She laid out a tarp. She had things that she needed. However, after one night like that, that was all she could take because it's not easy having a pony on the 12th floor. Pavel offered the shed in his backyard since his parents would be gone for a week and his grandparents don't wander around the back part of the yard much. That worked for a week. How to care for a pony, feed and clean up after it, with just a little bit of time for riding, is the formula that results in Kizzy walking the pony back to the riding stable he came from. They don't want him. That's another surprise. Responsibility, sharing, finding the right solution are all included in this title. This is a series of 4 or 5 books so far. This is book 1. Waldo and Sassy are good dogs. They keep the squirrels out of the yard and they try every day to keep their people home, even though they always get away. Lately, the dogs have noticed that their boy Stuart is not happy with school. They accidentally find an old trench coat and they hatch a plot. They will go to school as a new student named Salty and find out why Stuart is unhappy. The dog's point of view as to what is good about school will make readers laugh, and their positive attitude, plus their sometimes helpful efforts, encourage Stuart to work on his dreaded big report and give a presentation to the class. Stuart does the work and Waldo and Sassy as Salty provide support. Humor, seeing things from a different point of view, and an unexpected plot turn on the class bully. He isn't really one. This is book 2. Stuart has to join a club. His parents insist, so Salty has to stay after school too. Well, they don't want to join that club. They go to their favorite place in the school, the cafeteria, because food. Waldo and Sassy love the lunchroom, and soon they are joined by students looking for something to do, and suddenly they have a club, which they are very disappointed to find out is not a club sandwich. What might they be interested in? And here's the books 3 and 4. They go on a class trip. You can see one of the dogs taken a chomp on the dinosaur bone just to see if it's any good. And they are in a play and are stage left. This is so much fun. This is a sequel to George and the Stolen Sunny Spot from 2016, but it's not necessary to have read the first book to enjoy this one. George, the cat in the middle circle, the ginger cat, he takes on a lot. It's his job to patrol the farm, make sure everything's working okay, check in with some of the other animals, and keep track of what's going on. He continues to be frustrated with Felix, the gray cat up above, because Felix does not see the need to patrol, and he doesn't care about protecting the other animals. When Emma, their person, brings home a box with chicks and one Muscovy duckling, George is baffled by her behavior. Who needs them? Unexpectedly, the duckling imprints on George, and she follows him everywhere. But over time, George realizes the duckling, whom he calls Kid, is very good at patrolling and guarding. The coyote, Old Mangy, is on the edges of the farm, and things come to a head soon enough. Good thing Kid is on the team. It's great fun, and that duckling is a hoot, and this is by a Nebraska author and publisher. The Dormouse from Alice in Wonderland manages to escape that endless tea party and end up in New York City. His name is Bernard Pepperlin, and he finds a situation in the city that must be stopped before it happens. The Weasels, aka the Pork Pie Hat Gang, plan to stop time forever in New York so they can do whatever they want whenever they want. Bernard has already been through an endless tea party, and he knows he doesn't want to be in New York when time stops. He and some others are determined to stop them, but can they? Small does not mean unable. Step up and speak up when needed. Working together can accomplish many things, are all included in this story. When Melly, 9, and her friend Danny find a stinky, bedraggled cat behind the local pet food factory, Melly takes him home and names him Bert. Bert is unusual. He bites the heads off of Melly's dolls. He doesn't like cat food. Soon they are calling him Zombert, since he seems like a zombie cat. But this slightly spooky story is brief, and readers will learn Zombert's mission is to save the other animals that are in the pet food factory. And it has a bit of a cliffhanger ending, so I'm waiting for another book. Hope it comes soon. This is a 2-book series now that's set in Canada. Harvey, a Westie, gets out of the yard when his family is on vacation. He was after a squirrel, and there was a lady staying at the house to take care of him, but she can't find what happened to him. And when he can't find his way home, he is found by Austin, a boy volunteering in a retirement home where his grandfather works. Harvey is the key to Mr. Pickering's past, which he shares with Austin during the afternoons. Mr. Pickering has always been grumpy and impatient, but remembering his past mellows him. Meanwhile, Maggie and her family return home, and she is devastated that Harvey is lost. She is determined to find him. Austin feels bad about not reporting Harvey as found, but he almost seems like Austin's dog already, and everyone at Braeside Retirement Villa loves Harvey, especially Mr. Pickering. So about respect for others, caring for a dog, people have great stories inside them, and doing the right thing. Book 2, Maggie in 7th grade signs up for volunteer hours at the retirement home where Austin also volunteers. She still hasn't forgiven him for keeping Harvey from her for so long, but over time she begins to see his point of view. Maggie connects with new resident Mrs. Fredette, who still drives her beloved 1958 Chevrolet Bel Air. Maggie loves hearing stories of Mrs. Fredette's past and how she wanted to repair cars with her grandfather, even though in the 1950s that was not done. Maggie's 2 best friends at school don't understand her preference for visiting Braeside over the school's student leadership club, and they are beginning to leave her out. This is about appreciating history, sharing stories, and again, doing what's right. Piper, almost 12, and her family have left Georgia and the home they could no longer afford, heading on the bus to a town several states away. That town has snow and mountains on the horizon. Nothing is named beyond leaving Georgia here. When they arrive, they find themselves signing into a homeless shelter for the time being. Piper loves dogs, would like one, and is intrigued by the love a dog baby has for its homeless owner, Miss Jewel. Her parents are working hard, both helping at the shelter as required and looking for jobs. Piper soon makes friends joining the shelter's firefly troop and has a positive effect on others while investigating what happened to Miss Jewel because she sees baby by himself with the bag, and Miss Jewel's not around. But other homeless people are taking care of baby, and they know what's happened to Miss Jewel. It's about homelessness, caring for others, making the most of what you do have, staying hopeful. This is another fun series. This is book 1 in the Bowser and Birdie series. For her 11th birthday, Grammy lets Birdie choose a dog from the shelter. She picks a big one and names him Bowser. These books are told from Bowser's point of view, and again, some of his thoughts are hilarious. Each book has you solving a mystery. In this one, they need to find out who stole the prize stuffed marlin out of Grammy's bait and swamp tour shop, and why. Small town in Louisiana on the bayou, fun and some unusual characters, an interesting mystery. And book 2, the new mystery is who broke into Birdie and Grammy's house and why, when nothing seems to be missing. Book 3, there is a report that a bull shark has made it up the bayou to the swamp, but Grammy says that isn't possible, not that far up. Is there one there? And why does Mr. Kronik so badly want to catch or kill it that he put a bounty on it? And this is the final book in the series. I love this book. Lexington is 12 and she doesn't remember anything before the tornado came through Lexington, Nebraska, after which she was found with an elephant at a local zoo. Roger, the zoo train specialist, took her in. This summer, for the first time, she and her best friend Fisher, son of some other school zoo personnel, can learn to work with the elephants. Soon, the two of them are also quietly working to solve a mystery. What and where is the fortune that was hidden at the zoo so many years ago? There's a bit of magical realism included. Lex sees the misplaced spirit of Miss Amanda and talks with her to learn a bit about the fortune. Mysteriously, the wind seems to talk to Lex too, ever since the tornado. It's a good sense of place, even though those of us who live in Nebraska and know there is no zoo in Lexington have to get over some things about. It's really fun that she picked our state, but we know some things that are not true in the book. Lex is working through a few issues along with the mystery, and Lex is loved and cherished, and that is so wonderful. American Dog series, there are 4 titles, at least at the time I was reading this one. The title, each book has a title of the name of the dog. Dylan is 12 and he found a stray dog who fears loud noises. His mom has said no to dogs, but Dylan hopes for the best. A stroke of luck, just down the way is a ranch, and Hannah has agreed to help train Brave so Dylan can keep him. Along with that is Dylan's best friend has started trying more dangerous stunts, and he keeps bullying Dylan into joining in. Dylan can't quite stand up for himself, but he feels badly about the things that they have done, though no one's been hurt. It's about friendship and bullying, training a dog and pet ownership, and working hard. They really do work hard with the dog. Bella loved her family, the McBrides, and was always on her best behavior. However, due to some misinterpretations and misunderstandings, just before her first Christmas, Bella was taken to the pound. Heartbroken to learn that she is unwanted, Bella struggles to rally for the upcoming adoption fair, where she may meet a new family. It's a look at abandoned animals from the dog's point of view. I love this book too. There's so many I love in this list. Cyrus is in 6th grade and he was left by the firehouse door and taken in by Brooks Olson, who was the only one there who could calm him. His father is a well-respected firefighter. Cyrus is proud of him, but feels that he himself could never be brave like that. 11 years later, a puppy is left at the same door, and Cyrus knows it is his dog. Now the puppy is at the pound, and he skips football practice to help walk the dogs to the pound, one of them being the puppy. He makes friends with the girls who do this and thinks about how he and his friends are no longer working along the same line. They are major into tackle football, and Cyrus enjoyed flag football, but tackle is not for him. He is not brave like that. But lying to his father and his coach is not going to work for long. It's about finding oneself, supporting others, bullying, and feeling accepted for who you are. I love this one. Look at that Melly Bean. She always that expression. It's a full color graphic novel. Melly Bean digs a hole in the backyard and suddenly falls through it to another world. He encounters a very large orangish creature and wants to play. Unfortunately, the large creature named Nara is almost constantly under attack by the king's soldiers. Melly Bean's steady optimism helps Nara decide to find a way to end the conflict. It's a positive, do the right thing, upbeat story, and I hope there's going to be more books about Melly Bean. I don't know yet. Some nonfiction for grades 2 to 5 or so. This is a sequel to the 2019 copy of Lesser Spotted Animals. This title introduces other lesser-known animals to the reader. One two-page spread for each with a few other animals on the page. Basic information about each animal is included. This could send a reader off to research more information on an animal they had never heard of before. So I think that's such fun. And you see certain animals popping up here and there throughout the book. This is another ecology book. That's what I'm trying to say. It was 70 years that Yellowstone National Park was without its apex predators. This title provides insight into the changes the park went through during those 70 years and how it has changed again once wolves were reintroduced. So you can pair this with the otter book if you wanted to. This one is so fun and hard, a little hard. Each two-page spread, well, really 3 pages, describes one of the 13 well-known animals by listing several features of it. The description of the features are usually in terms of inanimate objects such as marbles, a fire hose, or flypaper. The reader is expected to guess the animal before opening the page-sized extra flap to see what it is. It's a very entertaining and intriguing approach. The author notes that when the explorers encountered unknown animals, they often described the animal's features in terms of well-known animals. Leaving the reader or listener to try to put the features together into this new creature was rather challenging. Of the 13 in this book, I knew 5 before I opened the page, and I'm an animal lover, so I felt kind of like a failure. Oh well. It's a new way to see animals, and you could challenge your students or patrons to try their hands at this kind of description for another animal that's not in the book. And oh my goodness, some animals are wanted. Each two-page spread contains a file or one of 13 animals who are bandits, tricksters, deceivers, or they spit on you when they're irritated. Oh, unacceptable. Don't worry, Detective X is on the case. Upbeat, silly fun, it still contains true information, and it's sure again to attract animal fans. I have 4 of, I think 6 books in this series. I read all 4 of them here. Each title follows the same outline. You arrive at a facility and one of the animals there shows you around and introduces you to other animals and the humans who work there. The 4 steps each place follows are rescue, recovery, rehabilitation, and if possible, release. There's good information on what the animals need and how they are cared for at the facility. So choose the animals that you think your readers will go for. I do want to note that the goat book contains some basic information about veganism, as the people who run the facility are vegan. It is informative but not proselytizing, so they're just letting you know about that. The 2 other books in the series that I didn't see are Sweet Senior Pups and Welcome Wombats. Here's the other 2, Tigers and Raccoons. I have just a few teen titles. Oh, I talk too fast, I'll slow right down. So some books for younger teens. Lydia is 13 and she has just lost her mother, her father having left them 6 years ago. Her mother's passed away, so now she is taken to rural Connecticut to live with her Aunt Brat and Brat's wife Eileen. A rescue dog is added to the family a few days later, and this dog, Guffer, has problems. Is Lydia a problem too? She begins to wonder. Settling in and finding her place, caring for others, keeping some secrets for a while, adjusting to school. Heartfelt and positive, this is another winner from this author. This is a full-color graphic novel, and it works on 2 levels. The basic main story is about 2 cats who are looking for the door that opens into the lovely garden where they will never have to worry again. Beto is skeptical and explains that the door is just a kitten story, it's not real, but Scylla believes in it, and so Beto finds along. follows along. It's entertaining as a basic story, and it takes place in Malta. But along with that is the author illustrator encompassed famous works of art throughout the book, with the cats walking through them sometimes, or they're on the wall nearby. She alters the paintings a little bit to fit the story, but each one is identified at the back of the book. It's beautiful and unusual. Some nonfiction for teens. These are both scientists in the field series books. With only 25 California condors alive in the world, the decision was made to capture the last free-roaming birds and to breed them in captivity. This book shows the progress made, how some condors still live in captivity and some are now flying free, and the many threats to the survival of the California condor, the most common of which are lead bullets from guns that they kill an animal, the condor eats it, gets the lead, and they get lead poisoning. An overview of the efforts to study and support the wild and captive population of Tasmanian devils. A new disease named devil facial tumor disease, or DFTD, has been spreading across Tasmania. The author fills the reader in on what it is and what approaches humans have made to try to control or eradicate it. The author also notes that Tasmanian devils are not wildly unpredictable, but rather like all animal species, gentle with their young, willing to share, and protective of their young. And some great photos, of course, in both of these books. I just have one book for older readers. Adelaide, it's the summer before her senior year of high school. She is on academic probation at Alabaster Prep, where her father teaches. Her mother and brother Toby, who is an opioid addict, are in Boston, where he is receiving treatment. Her summer job is to feed and walk several teachers' dogs as they are away for the summer. She is stuck in place, trying to get motivated to finish her project, well, started really, for one class, and is recovering from being dumped by her boyfriend. And she continues to worry about her brother. This story is told via differing realities, basically 3 different realities. One encounter in each of 3 or more universes could be pleasant, it might not have happened, or there was a bad fight. It doesn't take long to know which reality is which. Typeface differences are the first clue. And as Adelaide thinks on page 22, or maybe our encounter was in another possible world, that is, in one of the countless other versions of this universe. So it's intriguing. It's a slice of life story. Here is where she is now, taking responsibility for the dogs, her class, her relationships, or lack thereof, caring about herself, and it keeps you reading. And because I have a few minutes, I'm just going to zoom on by my thank you and just talk about a couple more books, because I always love to have a Fly Guy book if there's any animals involved. In this one, Fly Guy was on his own, so he went after some breakfast. He nibbled here, he gobbled there. Something smelled interesting out behind the secret science laboratory, so Fly Guy gave the garbage a taste. It made him feel sick, so he went back home to sleep. Things were strange when Buzz got home from school. His bed was in the yard, and the house was gone. On the house, oh, wait, the house was on top of the 50-foot tall Fly Guy. They retrace Fly Guy's paths, and as they go along, more and more military vehicles are following them. Fortunately, they reach the secret science lab, and a nice lady helps shrink Fly Guy. Now what? Fly Guy is hungry again. And I like this Sam Wu series. He's definitely not afraid of so many things like the dark or other things. In this one, it's not necessary to read any of the other books. You can read them in any order you want to. The 6th grade classroom brings their bird-eating tarantula Tulip to Sam's class for a visit. After they leave, the spider gets loose in the 6th grade science room. Sam and his friends are the only ones with the experience to catch her. And Sam is not afraid of spiders, but yeah, maybe he is. One more book. Joni is 12, and she and her family live on a farm and raise sheep for wool, cheese, and to sell some of the lambs. She rides her stubborn-minded pony Archie, who she wishes would behave a bit better. With 3 days left of school before summer, a new girl, Chess, joins their 6th grade class. As Joni gets to know Chess, who lives down the road from her, she learns that Chess is a strong animal rights advocate. Every time Joni tries to speak up to explain that horses and ponies need to be prevented from overeating or other things, she freezes. She just can't really get the words out. Speaking up is something she has trouble with. But when Chess endangers her neighbor's mini horses, Joni is there for the minis. And yes, sometimes you do need to control animals, even if you don't believe in using them for your pony cart. And now I'll really say thank you because, oh, look, I couldn't decide which color background I wanted. What do you think is better? Anyway, so thank you. And if you have questions or comments about any of the books I talked about, please let me know.
Yes, thank you, Sal.